Those are the original applications. You don't need to pass those out. They're just there for everyone to review if need be.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm going to turn the agenda item over to Macy on our staff. She's going to go over the process that we used at TSBA and then present to the board the finalists. So Macy?
So TSBA has been assisting the Campbell County Board with their superintendent search. We received 15 applications. So TSBA went through, we screened all 15 of those candidates, and today we would like to recommend 2 finalists to you. We'll go ahead and start with the finalists. If you want to turn to tab 1 of that binder in front of you. Our first finalist is Lori Adkins Clemens. She is currently the elementary supervisor there in Campbell County. She's previously from 2009 to 2019 was an elementary principal in Campbell County. From 2001 to 2009, she was a reading recovery district trainer, also in Campbell County. And from 1998 to 2001, she was a teacher in Campbell County. She has a master's degree plus 30. She has 11 years as a teacher, 10 years as a principal, and 7 years in the central office. Ms. Adkins Clemens is our first finalist that we are recommending. If you will turn to tab 2 of your binder, our second finalist is Charlotte McCoy. She is currently the special education supervisor in Campbell County. She's previously been the interim principal in Knox County Public Schools in Kentucky in 2021. From 2020 to 2024, she was an educational consultant with South Central Educational Cooperative. From 2019 to 2024, she was supervisor for student teachers at the University of the Cumberlands. From 1999 to 2019, she was the director of special populations in Knox County Public Schools in Kentucky. And from 1990 to 1999, she was a special education teacher and director of special education in Barberville Independent Schools in Kentucky. She has an EDS degree, and she has 9 years as a teacher and 21 years in the central office. So those are the 2 finalists that we are recommending. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay, we will go to the rest of the binder. We have some other materials. If you go to page 3, we have some recommended procedures in the search process, the interview process, if you guys would like to follow those. If you go to page 5, starting on page 5 through page 9, we have some general interview tips. So that's just kind of a guide for you guys as you're beginning the interview process. Pages 10 and 11 have an equal opportunity employment guideline. So those are questions that you can and cannot ask during the interviews. So you'll just want to review those. Page 13 has a sample interview schedule. This is just something that we recommend. It is a full day, but you guys can do what you want with that. That's just what we recommend, and that you follow the same process for all candidates that you're interviewing. And then on page 14, there's the candidate reaction form. So this is something that you can print copies for and pass out at the interviews and have community members fill those out and return them to you to get their opinion on how the interviews went. And then I will also direct you to the front pocket of that binder. It has a sample interview guide, which the board should have already received a copy of that, but it has questions that correspond to each of the 10 criteria that you adopted at the beginning of this process. So that's just a guideline for you guys. We recommend in the interviews that each board member asks the same questions to each candidate. So keep it consistent, asking the candidates the same questions. And also those interviews need to be conducted in a public meeting. So,
May I ask
any
a
questions?
question? Yes. On page 3, item number 1, TSBA would recommend 3 candidates, and you've only given us 2. Is that correct? You gave us.
It says we'll recommend up to 3.
Up to 3, okay. I was under the impression we would get 3.
The committee met and screened all the applicants based upon the criteria the board adopted, and we are only recommending 2 at this time.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Good question.
And they're good candidates, so I agree with you.
Any more questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Looks like we have no more questions.
okay. Are you all gonna vote on this item or do that later in the meeting?
It'll come up later in the items for action section.
Okay, all right. Well, it's like Macy said on page 3, those are some procedures that we think have worked effectively with other boards that have conducted a superintendent search. So, Mr. Chairman, I would encourage you to review those when you get to the action item later on in the meeting. And with that, we appreciate you all asking us to assist the board, and we wish you well in the process. And if you need anything, please give us a call.
We appreciate you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, we'll recognize now Dayspring Health, or Dayspring Dental, sorry. Anywhere right there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good evening to you all, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. As the Dental Operations Director of Dayspring Dental, I'm excited to share our plans to expand our school dental outreach program to better serve the students across your district. Our goal is simple, and that's to ensure that every child has access to essential dental care, regardless of where they live or their family's ability to get them to the dental office. In this school year, our program visited Elk Valley, Jellicoe Elementary, White Oak, and Wynn. Of the 83 students that we cared for across those 4 schools, over 60% of those students needed follow-up dental treatment visits, and less than half of those students have actually made it into our clinic to receive that treatment. Now, they may have went elsewhere, but we, are left wondering about those students and if they're receiving the needed treatment. We know that many students, especially those in the more rural and underserved areas, face barriers to receiving that dental treatment. Transportation challenges, limited access to providers, and family work schedules often mean that a child who is identified as needing care is never actually able to receive it. To address this gap in care, we are expanding our outreach efforts to include a mobile treatment clinic. Our pediatric dentist and his team will be visiting these schools and providing the necessary treatment to students on site. It's a really nice bus-looking vehicle if you're able to ever see it, and it would park right outside their school. Now, in the past, we have went into the schools, and we'll continue to do that for the preventative portion, but then the students that need follow-up care, our plan is to bring our new mobile clinic out and provide extractions, fillings, stainless steel crowns, whatever the child may need. Our second initiative to expand dental care for the students of Campbell County in the 26-27 school year is to include grades 6 through 12 in the District 5 schools, as well as grades pre-K through 5th at La Follette, Valley View, Caryville, and Jacksboro elementaries. These students will all have the opportunity to receive the on-site preventative care, as well as the treatment on the mobile clinic. These initiatives should help to remove some of the biggest barriers these families face. Instead of missing school for appointments or traveling long distances to a dental office, students can receive care safely and conveniently while they're already at their school. Our hope is that through regular preventative care, as well as dental treatment with our mobile dental clinic, we can move from simply identifying dental problems to actually resolving them. Healthy smiles contribute to better overall health, improved concentration in the classroom, and fewer missed school days due to dental pain or infection, which we did see when we visited these schools. We saw some children in pain. We look forward to working closely with school administrators, nurses, and families to make these expansions successful and to ensure that every student has the opportunity to thrive both in the classroom and in their overall health. Thank you so much for allowing Dayspring Dental to care for your all students. Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Item 3, does anyone in the audience wish to comment on any item on the agenda? Let the record reflect no one. Item number 4, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cummins, any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item 5, approval of regular agenda plus the addendum. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Ms. Creekmore, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wheeler. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 6, comments from the chair. Just one little note here that me and Ms. Slade have been kind of working on the budget, and unfortunately, we're in another deficit year. It looks to be about 2.9 million, and there's some hard days ahead, I'm not gonna lie. And we're kind of doing the best we can to get a rough draft of it to present to the board probably around the 1st of April. The commission is acting earlier this year, and they're wanting us to act a little bit sooner on getting the budget approved, so those talks will begin after spring break. All members need to be ready to get a call to have a meeting. We're going to be busy, so that's all I have. And item 7, Director's Monthly Report. Ms. Lane?
So, most elementary and middle schools began their tutoring grant programs the week before last, with the exception of Wynn. Currently, we have 27 teachers across our county working beyond their contract hours to tutor approximately 91 students in reading or math. The tutoring will continue until the end of May, and we're hopeful their hard work and dedication will have a positive impact on student learning and outcomes. Pre-K and kindergarten registration are set for May 21st through the 28th across all elementary schools. We are excited to share that the Campbell County Special Education Department has received its annual performance report indicator determination under the Individuals Disabilities Education Act, and we have officially been designated as meets requirement. This means that our LEA earned at least 70% of the possible determination points based on fiscal year 24 data from the 24-25 school year. The Tennessee Department of Education evaluates compliance, results indicators, correction of prior non-compliance, and other monitoring information as part of this annual determination. So what makes this especially meaningful is that we have not met these requirements since the 2021 school year. This designation represents tremendous growth, dedication, and focused effort across our district for special education. The most impressive is the academic progress of the special education students. The data reveals measurable growth. Grades 4 and 8 proficiency increased by positive 5.69 in ELA and positive 6.16 in math. High school end of course proficiency increased by an outstanding 18.13 in English and a .45 overall. That's all in our special ed department. Since ESSER is no longer, the homeless vans have become property of general purpose. I've asked all supervisors to put them to use for local travel, along with the CTE vans when possible, to help cut costs for our local travel fund. We'll revisit the cost in May to see if there have been any great savings. Currently, we're paying out anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 per month in local travel alone. So we're just looking for some savings there. In the month of May, Dayspring Health is offering free sports physicals for all the students in the 5th District. We'll inform all administrators as the time draws near. Retirement requests have gone out via email and should be back to us by April. Campbell County High School soccer field dugouts and press box are in the process of being remodeled by the construction classes. 2 new pumps were installed in the sewer system at Wynn Elementary. Jellicoe High School now has a new portable sound system. The trash compactor at Jellicoe Elementary has been repositioned away from the kitchen, and the new school lettering has been installed on the outside of the building at Elk Valley Elementary. That's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Slade. One other item I'll add to that is the baseball field lights at Campbell County High School. We are in the process with maintenance of getting new lights for the pole behind home plate. That's that issue. We look to have those in maybe in 2 to 3 weeks. That's what I've been told, so bear with us. Item number 8, legislative report, Ms. Fields.
I don't have anything at this
Thank
time.
you.
Well, next month, though.
Okay. Item 9, recognize Ms. Henniger, Department of Finance.
Good evening. Tonight we will present the January financials. The 141 fund, cash with the trustee is $19,235,000. Revenues are at 60.1%. Expenditures are at 51.9%. 142 fund, cash with the trustee is $1,839,000. The revenues and expenditures both are at 45.8%. The 143 fund, cash with the trustee is $4,863,000. Revenues are at 48.1% and expenditures are at 46%.
Do I have a motion to approve the monthly financials?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, to have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fields. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item B is the approved budget amendments and resolutions, and there are 6 budget amendments tonight. How would you like those presented?
I'll make a motion to approve budget item 13.1 through 13.6.
Second.
Second by Ms. Creekmore. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mr. Chair.
Item C is reviewing of bids.
Separate.
Separate. Okay, the first one would be the CCHS indoor practice facility. The bids were requested on November the 17th, 2015, open on December the 23rd, 2025. Requisitioned by the Board of Ed for the Campbell County High School. There were 5 bids: Creative Structures, Eaton Construction Services, Evans Ailey Construction, Jenkins Install, and Skilled Services. And at this time, there was no recommendation for award of the contract as per the interim director of schools because of budgetary shortfalls.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Lester, go.
So, you know, we're putting this off due to budgetary shortfalls. We've set one, we promised these kids this, we've set 1.1 million back. These dollars are not coming out of reoccurring, for budgets. We used some, money last year out of the fund balance, and we got letters from the state advising us not to do that again. So how would this be held up to the budgetary restraints is my question.
Well, the low bid was 2.2 million. You have 1.1 million in fund balance, which means you have to come up with another 1.1 million at least.
How many dollars do we
1.1
have?
million.
What's our fund balance?
Right now, fund balance is, we're projecting it towards the end of the year to be about 10 million.
10 million.
But, as the director said, you're facing significant challenges for
Mhm.
next year's budget.
So our plan is to use our fund balance to bail us
Well,
out?
the plan would have to be for you guys to decide how you want to fund your 2027 budget. And there's going to be a proposal for some significant reductions. Now, if you have enough reductions, you're going to minimize the amount of fund balance you might need, if any, to balance your 2027 budget. But that's all going to depend on the board approving that budget with those reductions, which at this time, we don't know what that will be. But again, the low bid was 2.2 million. There's 1.1 million set aside in the committed equity account.
Yeah. And we've got 10 million in the fund balance.
Right, you'd have to come up with 1.1 million
Mhm.
to fund that. Now, the problem again is, let's say where we are gonna be at the end of the year, about 10 million possibly. But you might have to use, if you don't change anything from what we're projecting to be your costs for next year, you might have to use over 3 million of that just to balance your budget.
So we are looking at using our fund balance to balance the budget.
No, that would be a decision you're gonna have to make. You're going to have to either adopt a budget that reduces your appropriations to a level that you don't have to use fund balance, or you're going to be recommending using some fund balance. But you won't be able to decide that until you see the details of the budget and work through that. But right now, you have fund balance that's going to go down unless you make some reductions in the budget. And the concern would be, if you don't make reductions in the budget, you have to make a large withdrawal from fund balance. That's going to bring it down probably to about 6.7 million. And then if you used 1.1 million to fund this project, now you're down to about 5.6 million in fund balance, which is about 10% of your budget, which really isn't sustainable. It really should be at least 16% of that with your fund balance. Now, I looked at the historical numbers, and on the positive side, since 2021, you have been increasing your fund balance. So 2021, 2022, 2022, 23, 24, 25, they're all increases to your fund balance. You're in a pretty good position right now with your fund balance. Now, this year, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen. There might be a small decrease, withdrawal from fund balance to balance the budget. But I think given that you're in a good, solid financial position right now, you'll want to adopt a budget that maintains that, which would probably mean taking as little as possible out of fund balance. But that, again, is something to be determined. We don't know what the board is going to approve at this time, so we would recommend taking 1.1 million out of fund balance to fund this project at this time. I don't think that's prudent action on your part.
Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Director, I have two questions for you. One, would you recommend this Board of Education taking money from fund balance to subsidize our budget so we don't have to make any reductions? Because my understanding is the state says absolutely not, don't do that. So I'm curious, your personal recommendation as Finance Director, and two, what is your personal recommendation as Finance Director about how much exactly we should keep in fund balance? Because I understand the prior Finance Director may have a different standpoint than you do, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's really no hard and fast rule. I mean, most people recommend have 2 to 3 months of unassigned fund balance available to you, excluding anything if already restricted and committed.
So how much is that?
That would be, at a minimum, probably around, and that again also depends on your budget appropriations, because it's percent of the budget appropriation.
Understandable. If we're within a couple percentage points, I don't think anybody's gonna hold your feet to the fire, but.
Yeah, let me just check that really quickly.
I
But
thought the
again,
original rule was
3%.
3%.
no, there's a state requirement for 3%.
Yeah.
You have to meet. If you, all you did was keep 3%, you wouldn't be able to function, you'd have
We
an
haven't
operating
done that,
deficit, you
yeah.
wouldn't be able to pay
We
your
haven't
bills.
done that, we got 10 million,
Right, yeah. I mean, it's, because basically when you begin the fiscal year, first couple months, usually you run an operating deficit.
Yeah.
Your expenditures are higher than your revenues. So you need cash on hand to do that. Now, that actually is more than 3%. You need more than that on hand to do that. So if you said, let's just do 3%, you'd be creating a huge problem for yourselves.
If 3%'s the floor, though, I'm just curious, as
It's-
finance director, what
It's
your,
not the
what-
floor, though.
well, it's
It's
legally the-
insufficient.
but it's legally the floor, correct?
That's what you would have to do.
And I'm not
that.
advocating we only keep 3%.
Right.
I'm just saying legally, the floor is 3%.
So right now, for your 2026 budget, it's about 55.6 million, I think is amended so far. So if you did 3 months, that's 25%, you'd have to have 13.9 million.
So you think that our.
That's at 3 months at 25%. He said, well, let's just do 2 months, which is what, you know. some
I'm
people
asking what
recommend.
your recommendation
I'm
is.
walking through these numbers so you understand them, though. 2 months, which is another standard, is about 16.7%. That's 9.3 million.
Understandable.
So I would say you don't want to go much below 17, 16%. That's where you want to stay. And right now, you're probably going to be there at the end of this year. So it's going to be difficult to put together a budget that maintains that unless you have some reductions.
So you think call it 16.5% of a $55 million budget is what your recommendation as our county
Well,
finance
that would
director is?
be a good target to work towards and maintain.
So that's your recommendation as our finance director?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, you guys want to do that. Yeah, that's what I would recommend is you do. I mean, bottom line is you really can't have too much on the side, really. Especially for, you know, a larger district, you have a lot of facilities, any number of things can go wrong, unanticipated expenses, things like that. So you want to maintain a healthy unassigned fund balance to the extent that you can.
Understand.
You don't want to create problems where all of a sudden, you know, you have a need for some additional funding and you don't have any money available for it.
And then further, would it be your recommendation as our finance director, as we're going into budget season, to tap fund balance?
I think
to
that
balance
would-
the budget, or no?
I think the operating default position is don't take any fund balance.
Okay.
But you also have to look at how much are you taking and how much do you expect you might be regenerating. Because that's why I went through those numbers the last 5 years. There's been a pretty good trend of increasing fund balance at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Unspent appropriations, surplus revenues, you have money going in there. So if you expect some of that to continue, you know, you would want to identify what kind of amount of fund balance do we think would be reasonable to possibly use in the budget, because we have strong confidence that we're going to regenerate that.
For sure.
So for the fiscal year 27 budget, we say, okay, let's use 500,000 in fund balance. If you're highly confident that when we end fiscal year 26, you're gonna generate 500,000, you're basically
Yeah.
making it up, and you're no worse off than you were before.
If we don't think it's a trend, then you're more inclined.
Or
for
if
us
you
to tap
think
fund
there's
balance.
things that are on the horizon that could dramatically change that.
Understandable. And our current fund balance, again, is what?
We're
Looking around.
projecting for the end of this year to be about 10 million.
10 even, or 10-1, 10
A little over 10 possibly, it all depends. At the end of fiscal year 25, per the audit, the unassigned fund balance was 9,449,000.
Okay.
So,
The reason I ask, if you're saying your recommendation as our county finance director is between 16 and 17% of our budget,
that's a minimal.
let's split the difference, say 16.5. My calculations show that would be south of 9.1 million. We're going to have north of 10 million, which indicates that we've got roughly $1 million in fund balance that you're saying we essentially don't need in savings. I mean, you always need money in savings, right?
You want to be fiscally responsible. So the other things you have to look at is not just what are we looking at in next year's budget, but what's on the horizon.
For sure.
What are you projecting in terms of student enrollment? What do you think is going to be happening with TISA? is the state going to be requiring further salary increases after we get past fiscal year 27? Things like that, because if you're projecting, well, we might have a lot of capital needs in the near future, you want to keep as much fund balance there as possible, because it gives you more options for funding that. If you're expecting, well, enrollment is declining, it's going to continue to decline, well, that's going to affect potentially your TISA funding, and might require you to make some other decisions about the district and its operations.
Understandable. So my standpoint on this board is academics always come first, period. We're all here for the students, academics come first, right? On the same token, we have promised some type of complex, et cetera, to Campbell County High School, which sees 94% or so of Campbell County residents. And we need to make good on our promises to not just Campbell County High School, but every school throughout our district, from Elk Valley and Wynn to White Oak to Jellicoe to Carrollville and Valley View. So my recommendation for this board would be, one, I don't think we should be touching fund balance to balance our budget. We see an enrollment throughout the state of Tennessee in rural communities where they continue to lose students. We've seen that from TSBA. We know the data there. So we can't anticipate gaining students in a world where rural Tennessee throughout the state is losing students. But I also think making a decision on this evening before we even have any idea of what our budget for next year looks like is probably pretty hasty. I would like to see us table this until we are able to figure out what our budget for next year looks like. We can have a whole picture of where our financial standing is.
Mr. Heather?
Brandon, it's hard to argue your points you made. They're good points, and I kind of go back and think about, I've been on this board for, coming up on 4 years, and the biggest part of that, I think it's around 3 years ago that we made this commitment to do this, and it was originally 1.7 million, and we temporarily used 600,000. I mean, unfortunately, we had a foundation at Campbell County High School on a building that had to be addressed, and we temporarily used some of that money, and that was, what we decided to do at that time. But there was really $1.7 million set aside for this project. I think the biggest issue for me here is recurring funds as opposed to non-recurring funds. And, the Tennessee law, I mean, Mr. Pearson is 3%, and I understand we need 16 to 7. I understand all your points and respect that very much. It's not good process to take the money from the fund balance if we were in a bad position to do so. I do think we made a commitment to do it, and I do think we have enough money to do it. And I think when it's all said and done, we will. And I just want to make it really clear, the kids of Campbell County, the faculty at Campbell County, the coaches, will all benefit from this, and we've talked about this many, many times. I will never support backing out of a commitment this board has made to the community and the children of Campbell County, irregardless of the children or the school that's affected by it. And I just want to make that really clear. I support this and have, from the very beginning, and hope that this board will see this through. I feel like that, we've made some, big spins at Jellicoe High School on the football field. We made the weightlifting building, we made that change up there. We spent about $600,000 there. I mean, to be honest with you, we need tennis courts at Campbell County High School, and I'd like to see us do it both all together. I'd like to see this facility built, and I'd like to see the tennis courts built. I think we have a little bit of concern of the Title IX issue, and I think we need to look at that. I support this 100%. With that,
I would like to ask a question. Are tennis courts included in any of these bids?
Mr. Cantrell, could you share, do you know how much you have in Anderson County and fund balance probably?
It's probably not a fair question for you guys, because we do, even though we're now under the same Financial Management Act, we have our in-house finance director. So we keep the floor minimum of 3%, which is required by law, And then we build up projects for like capital outlay. We're building, we call it capital outlay for Claxton Elementary School, like what you've done with this project. We set aside money and then make a decision. The fluidity of, you all are not a funding source. So you don't have the ability to go and say, we're going to raise taxes. In our system, that is a very fluid conversation between the County Commission and the Board of Education, that we will go, we need a tax increase, and we have 3 systems we have to funnel. So Mr. Pearson is just dealing with one system. We deal with 3. We have to support the Oak Ridge City School System, the Clinton City School System, and the Anderson County School System. So we would never approach a 15 or a 16% minimum, because it's just not physically possible with our tax base. But we are much more fluid with the municipal governments and the county commission historically to like raise the money that if you came on a shortfall. So I don't think it's a fair apples and orange comparison.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on the item,
And let's call, a spade here. Part of our problem, we continue to lose students. The board has a concern, and I have a concern, about how we are good stewards of taxpayer dollars, right? And how we make sure that every student throughout our community has an equal chance at success, right? Which is what we all want to assure. No matter where you live, no matter what school you want to go to, I firmly believe that everybody on this board and everyone at central office and everyone in our schools want to make sure that every student has the same opportunity for success, right? So how do we make sure we do that? And now we're in this cycle where we're getting great students. They're maybe going through our elementary schools, possibly our middle schools. Our high school continues to lose students, especially student athletes. Students are not typically leaving our high school because of academics. We have wonderful academic programs going on at Campbell County High School. Thank you all for your leadership on that. But we're losing phenomenal students, not just from our athletic programs, but from our band, from our other programs, because we lack the facilities that schools similar size to Campbell County High School have. And so our revenue keeps decreasing because we're losing students, but we don't want to spend the money to stop students from losing, so we continue to lose more students, and that donut hole just continues to get larger and larger and larger. And again, I think there's some unique conversations that can happen. From what I understand, Mr. Miller, you've been possibly looking at some alternates to us building a facility. Is that correct?
yes.
Is that something you're comfortable sharing with the board at this point?
No.
Okay, so there may be some alternate options to us building a facility that depending on dollars and cents and what works, I can see myself supporting, because we've got to make good on our promises, folks. I mean, the community is losing faith in us as a board because we promise something and then we turn around and take it away. And this board's been doing that since before I started serving here and since before many of us have served. And it's not anybody on this board's fault. I'm not pointing fingers. But we've got to stop the bleeding, folks. We've got to stand up and do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And so I would like to make a motion that we table this, or I should rephrase that. I'd like to make a motion that we lay this on the table with the intention to pick this back up after we have a budget in place for next year, so we all have a good financial understanding of where the future is going to lead us.
Well, that will require a new bid, right, Mr. Pearson? Bid expires March 23rd.
Yeah, probably.
It will require another bid.
So we're going to have to vote this bid down, or we're going to have to approve it. We can't lay it on the table and then...
Legally, you could not lay it on the table
Okay.
because since the bid has a floor or a ceiling, I should say, you would have to begin the whole bid process again, because you'll see a spike in material, spike in everything. So it either has to be voted up or voted down. You can't table a bid for construction like for 60 days or 90 days.
And then possibly, if that be the situation, then other facilities be added in the new bid request.
Oh, you mean like the tennis courts?
Yes.
Yeah, that would, you could always, and could do this bid and then say we want an add-on from the thing, but yes, if you do a new bid, you could submit anything that you wanted on the footprint.
And Mr. Miller, could I add to that? I've been to the high school last week. I know we have a lighting situation at the baseball field that needs to be corrected, and we need to upgrade that. I understand in the gym, bleachers, they didn't work when I was there, they don't function now. So we're looking at possibly new bleachers in the gym. And also, Ben, how old is the track? Do you remember, is it about 7, 8 years old?
Probably 8.
Probably about 8 years old. Well, right now, we probably need to go up there. That needs to be maintenanced. I noticed that the lines on the track, the lanes, you can barely see them. Those need to be repainted and.
It's been actually 10 years.
And you're looking at,
My
that's,
second year on the board.
yeah, so
Been around
it's,
10 years
so
since
that,
the draft.
and you want to maintain those to where you're not having to spend more money to put in a new track.
They all eventually
So-
will need maintenance.
So, and we're looking at a lot of things that we need to upgrade our facilities right now too.
And the softball facility,
In the softball, I have not even looked at the softball facilities yet. So we have a lot of upgrades we need to do, I feel like, before we even start construction on something new. That's what I'm looking at.
and we have tremendous athletes, talented athletes that get scholarships to play these sports in other schools and colleges. Some of them go D1. So I agree. I think our facilities need to be updated, and I'm not against this building. I'm not against that, and I want the record to show that, because I don't want to be accused of not being for kids, because that's not what I'm saying here. But when we have other facilities for other students that are lacking, I think we need to concentrate on a few of those things, and I think we need to follow through with it. I don't think we just need to put a bunch of numbers on a paper and say this is what needs to be done. I think it says it needs to be done, and I think we need to do it.
I agree, because, I hate to, you're playing baseball in the dark, and you don't want to be doing that.
Those are lights already purchased though, right? And on the side.
Working on it, yes.
Is that going to be a permanent solution, though?
Permanent solution's about 300,000, ain't it, Stan, 400,000 for new lights? If we went with all, like we did Jellicoe a few years ago, we're gonna look at doing one light pole, replacing with LED lights. Probably be $5 grand, $6 grand, and our guys are going to
Okay,
do.
and things should be okay by then.
And as far as tennis courts, like our students don't even have a place to practice tennis. They do, but it's owned by the state park, so you can't run people off. If they're there playing pickleball or playing tennis, you can't ask them to leave. I mean, that's a public park. You can't do that. So there's nowhere for them to even practice a sport that we have in this county. So that's my argument, so.
So, Mr. Charles?
I'll yield to Mr. Heatherly first, I talk a lot.
I mean, I do understand these things. I think there's a lot of issues that do need to be taken care of. And I do agree, Ms. Wheeler, Campbell County High School, so, a budget request form, which every year in the budgetary process, we set aside money for capital outlay projects. So one of the projects that I would be asking for is bleachers at Campbell County High School, and they're 26 years old. And I think it's recommended that every 20 years these be replaced, and we just replaced Jellicoe High School at 20 years. So I agree with that completely. I'm hoping that there's enough money in capital outlay to take care of, obviously, we'd like to take care of all of them. And there's probably not enough to take care of all of them, but, some of the most important ones, we certainly try to get taken care of, immediately. And hopefully our maintenance department can help us with, baseball, bathrooms, and, lights and those type things, so.
What was your estimate, Stan, on the bleachers for Campbell County? $500,000 to replace the bleachers. So,
And also, let's be clear, bleachers are quasi-athletically needed. It's also super important for Mr. Faust to have that for community events, for school assemblies, safety, et cetera, et cetera. That it's important to have bleachers outside of an athletic capacity, so let's be clear. And Mr. Faust, correct me if I'm wrong, but we also need lights at the soccer field, correct? And from my understanding, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have to play soccer games early enough in the day before it gets dark, which leads to it being incredibly hot. Y'all, if you've not gone to a soccer game at Campbell County High School at about 5 p.m., y'all go up there. It's rough. Yeah, and Ms. Fields brought up a great point about baseball, and I'll echo those. But Board, I don't know why we do not assign, you know, for example, if Campbell County High School has 1,000 students and La Follette Middle has 100, I'm just making up numbers, of course. Why does this board in our revenue cycle, in our budget, not say, you know what, we are going to set aside X dollars per student to help upkeep these type of things? Would that not make sense? That way, every year, we're not in here fighting. We can say, okay, Campbell County High School, you've been great stewards of your bleachers. It's year 25. You don't need to replace them. Here's some extra money, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why this board's never considered that. But I think in this budget, I'm not on the Budget and Finance Committee for this board, but I would ask the Budget Committee to consider that, to say, hey, you know, that way we can make sure that every student, no matter what school they go to, say we assign $2.27 per student, we can make sure that every student has equal funding when it comes to athletic programs, for example. Because I believe a student, no matter what school they go to, should get funded the same. Dale, have you ever heard of a school system doing something like that?
A really wealthy school system.
You're telling me we're not wealthy?
Yeah, I don't think that's physically possible because you have issues that come up, like a roof fails, ADA compliance issue. That would take a huge reserve.
Of course.
I would defer to Mr. Pearson, but I don't think that's possible.
Well, a roof failure on a school, obviously that would be different. I'm talking just from the athletic standpoint. You know, for example, if Mr. Faust has, you know,
Paint, I just need some paint. It'd be nice to just be able to go buy paint without using fundraising money, that would be nice. But I have to go through maintenance, and it takes them a while or whatever, so I think that's kind of what you're saying.
well, I'm saying from every capacity. I mean, we need to trust our schools and our principals to help in conjunction with our central office staff to run budgets, and to be able to handle
I
it.
want to clarify one of my answers.
Yes.
We could, what you're seeing now in systems is they're designating, like Mr. Faust had said, in-school money that's designated to a school that they don't have to go back before the board. So he has discretionary spending for minor items. I think in Anderson County, we allot $50,000 per school each year, and then the principal has their discretion to spend that money. Now, that's different than a proportional spending for athletics, but you can give discretionary funding to each of your schools of any amount you want, let the principal decide how to use it.
So, Mr. Pearson, just speaking back to the upcoming budget.
Yeah.
The board action last year on the debt service, that $1 million will be coming out of the fund balance immediately. So you got $1 million there, plus another 1.1 if this gym goes through. So it's, you know, 2.2 already coming out of fund balance for the next year. And that 1.1 last year was for air conditioning units that we purchased and borrowed money for. We were fortunate to have Esther to get us through a lot. Now, moving forward, we've got air conditioning units and rooftops that are going to have to be replaced 3-4 years down the road that are big expenses. If you keep borrowing money to do capital projects, you're going to keep paying debt service that takes money out of your fund balance. Where does it end? I mean, where do you get to zero? I mean, eventually you're going to be bankrupt. Is it a revenue problem? Probably. The commission probably needs to be consulted about some revenue around here. But, you know, this started 3 years ago, and we went through a series of things with that weight room repair. And, you know, it cost a lot of money. It's like $600,000 to fix that. And now we're sitting at 1.1. The question before you is, can this board afford to pay another 1.1? So what's the pleasure of the board? Is there any motion to approve or not approve the director's recommendation?
I would like to make a motion that we take the director's recommendation.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Wheeler. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Creedmoor,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Lastly,
Yes.
Lester,
No.
Rodner,
No.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Motion passes.
let the record reflect that I would have rather, obviously, we can't, for time constraints, lay this on the table, but I would like to see us reconsider this after we know what our budget's going to look like. Because right now, we're just speculating. Just to be clear to the public, the board has not had a single committee meeting on our budget for next year. We've not had a single discussion outside of essentially what you just heard about our budget for next year. So the board members, we don't know. So I would like to see us have a conversation about this.
Oh, we're going to.
Great.
It's coming. Doomsday is coming, so, and I'm gonna call it that because that's what we've seen it, a preview of it, and it's not pretty, so. Item number 2, surplus solar panels, Ms. Karen.
And the bids were requested on February the 12th, 2026, open on February the 25th. Requisition by the maintenance department. There was one vendor, Jacksboro Metals, for $10, and it was the recommendation of the interim director to accept the bid.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Ms. Creekmore. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mr. Chair.
Item D is to request permission to advertise bids, and there's one for pest control for the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Creekmore. To have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cummins. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Item, section 10, items for action. Does anyone have a problem taking 10A through 10F all at once?
Let's pull 10F out.
10F,
Question.
10A through 10E. I make a motion to approve 10A through 10E.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cummins. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Section 10A, consider amending the seating capacity of bus 47 from a 66 seating capacity to 78 seating capacity as recommended by Transportation Supervisor Tracy Chambers. Ms. Ryder?
Yes, so this bus has been ridden to know we've added this many students meeting this capacity.
Ms. Chambers, will you address the board, please?
Yes, I went up to East
Will you-
Lamar.
will you come up?
On the bus.
Will you come up? We can't hear you.
I went up to La Follette Elementary. I got on Steve's bus. There have been people that have moved in for La Follette Elementary and La Follette Middle. And I think he had 10 to 12 students since we came back from Christmas. And the day that I was on the bus, there were 3 students in every seat. It was totally full. One more student could not have gotten on this bus.
We're just thinking, we've lost nearly 200 students, so where are they? They should be off of buses somewhere, or there should be left somewhere else if this was adding more to it. 'Cause we're not
And I don't
adding-
know if they're students new to the district or have just an address change, but now his bus, if there was one more student could not have gotten on the bus.
My assumption that the students that we lose and the number of students who ride buses probably are not proportionate, because typically students that provide buses don't have alternate transportation, typically.
Somewhere else.
Which means that they can't go anywhere else either. So I wouldn't be shocked if we lost, 500 students and did not see a proportionately equal number of changes in bus riders.
Ms. Chambers, was this about how much, $2,000 on this change?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah. For the remainder of the year?
Yes, for the remainder of the year.
Any more questions? I make a motion to approve 10F. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cummings. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lastly,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. 10G, discuss and take any action regarding the Director of School search. You have the proposed candidates from TSBA before you. The one thing that I would like to suggest is that the interview process move till after spring break. The interviews are scheduled for next week. That's not going to work too good during spring break. So on Monday, the 23rd, is it? 23rd? We do them all in one, just do them one evening. I think you have done that before.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, none of us on this board take spring break. And I've got a concern that we've been telling the public for months that these are the days that we plan to interview. What would be whether it's spring, I mean, we knew it was spring break when we set these interview dates.
Correct. It's just, speaking with TSBA, that's what we felt was appropriate.
So TSBA recommends
They
that we.
did say it would probably be best to go outside of the spring break, so,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Just a couple of comments, and I think when we searched for an interim, I think we made a grave mistake by not allowing Ms. Lay to apply. And we don't have 3 applicants as it is. I think we should allow her to be joined in the interview process. Her leadership the past few months have far exceeded my expectations, so I would like to extend her the opportunity to do so if she wants.
So, Ms. Creekmore, you just said that your opinion of her has been influenced by her performance, which means that it's unfair to every other person who set out the opportunity to apply for interim.
If I wanted to do something
Ms. Creekmore, I have
unfair.
the floor, I'm sorry. But
She had the floor.
you're
I
saying
had the floor.
yourself.
I actually had the floor. If I wanted to be unfair to Miss Nancy, I would make the motion right now to skip interview processes and name her the Director of Schools. And I do have the right to do that, I believe. Don't I, Mr. Pinter?
Yes, you did, legally.
So, I was just allowing her an opportunity. She was not allowed. I think we did make a mistake by not allowing the interim to apply. And I would like to correct that mistake by allowing her to interview.
Is
Now,
that-
either
is that
way, I can make a
something
motion to name her, or we can do the interview.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have the floor, correct? So Ms. Creekmore just said that her opinion of Ms. Lay was influenced by the quality job she's done over these past few months. Ms. Lay, I agree, you have done a phenomenal job. I would not have your job for any amount of money. You have been an extraordinary teacher, principal, and interim director of schools. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. But any opinion that this board makes, as Ms. Creekmore just said with her own mouth, is going to be skewed because we have seen you in this role. Now, likewise, if every candidate had an opportunity to be interim, would they do a worse job? Possibly. Would they do a better job? Possibly. But this board, yet again, has a habit and an impression in the community of we say one thing and we do another, and we set the qualifications when we hired you as interim director that you would not, we made very clearly and unanimously decided that the interim director would not have an opportunity to be considered for the director of schools. And I vehemently am against that. Not because of anything personal against you. You have done a fantastic and wonderful job, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your service. But it's not fair to the other 15 people who may have been interested in serving as interim director of schools, receiving a 6-figure compensation during that time, who decided, no, I don't want to be interim. I want to apply. I want to apply for the final position. And we're going against everything that we said up front. If in the past we would have said something different and given everybody an opportunity, I mean, we hired Ms. Lay without even interviewing her. We did no interview for an interim. We came in here, we interviewed no candidates, we accepted applications, read things on a piece of paper, and then hired Ms. Lay instantly. No interview.
Mr. Cummings.
I'd like to make the motion to allow Miss Nancy Lay to interview on Monday to be one of the 3 applicants.
With the TSBA applicants.
Yep.
Second.
By Ms. Creekmore, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Cantrell, do we possibly open ourselves up to a possible lawsuit? Because this board very clearly said that an interim candidate could not be considered. If you, and you heard a board member already say that her opinion is influenced by Ms. Lay's performance on public record. If you were a candidate and you didn't receive an opportunity to, or you didn't apply for the interim position because you were told that you would then not be allowed to apply for director of schools, etc. Are we not opening ourselves up to legal liability by reversing course and putting a candidate for a publicly funded job under criteria that we agreed we weren't going to do?
I mean, the short answer would be probably yes, but my legal opinion would be no, because of what Ms. Reidner said at the start of what you asked Dr. Grissom about. My assumption was TSBA was going to bring you 3 representatives. When I've never seen TSBA only bring 2. I've done this a long time, I've always seen 3. And I thought Sharon's question, it caught me a little off guard because I anticipated that you all would get 3 candidates. The other thing I would factor in is you all had a very fluid situation with your director of schools stepping down mid-year that really handcuffed your all's ability to make, because you had to have by statute a director in place on January 1. From a legal standpoint, I think a chancellor would take that into consideration, that you all are under the gun to have somebody in that seat. You cannot leave it vacated on January 1. And if you remember, that kind of drove your decision-making to this. So I think that sure, it opens you up to a lawsuit, but as your attorney, I would say my concern would be minimal, because what Sharon had pointed out to the TSBA, having 3, and the fluidity of how quickly you had to act to film it. So I could not honestly counsel you not to do it.
And if we want a 3rd candidate, if this board's very serious about that, then we need to go back to TSBA and say, produce us a 3rd candidate. You've given us 2, give us whoever was number 3. Again, this is nothing against Ms. Lay. I think Ms. Lay has done an outstanding job. I consider her a friend. I'm thankful for you. You've shown great leadership and you've done a phenomenal job. But I just think it's incredibly unfair to the 15 candidates who did not apply for interim director of schools, who have not had this opportunity to prove themselves to be in battle. We told them up front, here are the rules of this process. Here are the rules. Here is what we are abiding by. We are making an agreement. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be honest. We're going to host community meetings. We have told the community time and time again, here is the process. And now we're just going to change it because of convenience. It's nothing against Ms. Lay, but I am incredibly against that. Mr. Cummins, I'd be glad to yield to you, sir.
Just on your point of being unfair, I do also feel like it's unfair to Ms. Lay to be exempt, to be excluded from that.
But Ms. Lay knew when she took this position that she could not apply. She willingly accepted a 6-figure job, knowing that at the end of that, she could not apply to be director of schools, period. If she wanted to be director of schools, she shouldn't have applied to be interim, and I am very confident she would have been in the final 3. But my issue is not with whether it was you or whether one of the other 2 finalists decided to serve as interim. I would be as adamantly against this no matter who was in that seat, period. But the fact that we told the community very clearly, here are the rules, and now we're changing them because of convenience, sounds like that backdoor politics, and I will not be in favor of that.
I understand that, and I understand.
Went and looked at all the resumes, there was some issues with some of them. I mean, I read them, and some didn't send in transcripts from out of state.
Some of them didn't have classrooms.
Some didn't meet the qualifications to be director based on their education. But I did that on my own due diligence at home. We have a motion on the floor. Dale, I have to entertain that motion, correct?
You do, and I just want to add one other thing, because I thought Sharon's comment was brilliant at the start, but I was just thinking while you guys were talking, had TSBA only brought you one candidate, and this is why I liked what you said about 3, then you're essentially just interviewing for the sake of interviewing, and you're just giving the person a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you start the process again. I was really caught unaware that they would only bring you 2, and that does cause me concern that you're not interviewing 3 people, because I don't like the idea of TSBA being out of Nashville directing somebody to be your director of schools by limiting the number of applicants. So that does cause me some concern, not having a full slate.
Okay.
But she said they did not meet the criteria.
That's right, that she only had
And
2
if,
that
you
approached,
know,
yes.
And this was set out the way we started out. Ms. Slay was quite aware of the fact, and it was your recommendation
It was.
to Mr. the Chairman to do it that way, because it makes a lot of politics in the
It was 100%, it was my recommendation.
Is your recommendation?
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. I'm not backing up from any of that.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair.
Are we
Craig
voting to
Moore.
allow, I'm sorry, Ms.
Voting to allow the 2 candidates from TSBA and Ms. Slade to interview on Monday, February 23rd.
March 23rd.
Just voted to add. I think it's just to
Add this one.
Yes.
Just to
Yes,
add
just
her.
add one. Yes, sir. Craig Moore? Yes.
One moment before we take a vote.
The vote's going to take place. Call the roll.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
No.
Rodner,
No.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, 6-2.
So I guess my question was going to be, did we not need to make a motion to change the rule that we made first?
Had you asked that question, I would have said the appropriate vote would have been to rescind that restriction, vote on it, then vote on Crystal's motion. So I would have said yes to that.
Correct, so I think we
Just to
need
kind of clear the record.
to clear the record.
Student reps, is Makai here? You want to come forward? You got anything for us?
Actually, I do. I seen this the other day. I want to talk about it. The winter sport athletes at Campbell County High School, they had a cumulative GPA of 3.92. And that's really, really high. I just think that's really cool. I want to talk about that. So.
Okay, thank you. Is Miss Olivia Ulrich here? Do you have anything? Thank you. You received, did you send that minutes update out? You did that before, didn't you?
I did, yes.
We got to take up item 10H. Sorry about that. Discuss and take any necessary action regarding the Campbell County High School Video Board. This is the project that Mr. Faust has talked to me about. They are seeking a video board for the football field, it's my understanding, and I'm going to make a motion just to follow through with the policy on allowing the school to fundraise for a project like this. The motion will be that the board is going to give the okay for Campbell County High School to privately fundraise or seek donations on this project with the understanding that the Board of Education is not funding no portion of it. And once they get their funding, they will come back to the board and we will then bid it out because it's significantly large when they have the funds secured. That's my motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cummins. Any more discussion? And in your packet was some samples that he sent on cost. So once this is done, they can get to work fundraising and then hopefully they'll be back in a few to move forward. Call the roll.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Fields,
Yes.
Heatherly,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rodner,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
15, recognize school board members. Mr. Johnson.
I just want to reiterate, I love everybody on this board. I am incredibly, incredibly disappointed in this board this evening. When we say one thing and we do another, it undermines this board's confidence. It undermines the community's confidence in this board. I'm disappointed that we didn't do what we said we were going to do. I'm disappointed and I'm sorry for the 15 applicants who agreed with the process from day one, understood the rules going in. I don't like the rules to baseball being changed at the 9th inning. That's not fair to anybody playing the game. And this isn't a game, folks. This is about our students. With that being said, Ms. Lay, you've done a fantastic job. I don't want you to think in any way, shape, form, or fashion my objection is about you or your performance, because it's not. It's about making sure that we do what we say we're going to do. So thank you for your leadership, and I look forward to hearing your interview. And now that we have included you as an applicant with the other two, you have my word that I'll consider you on the same field as everyone else. But I am still in protest of the process. I yield.
Ms. Fields?
Well, I mean, I don't like, again, being accused of disappointing people. You know, I don't appreciate that comment, and I love you, but I don't appreciate that. But when TSBA doesn't have any recommendations except 2 people, who, by the way, are outstanding, and thank you both for applying and for doing what you do every day for our students, Lori, and I'm serious. You all work, you go above and beyond what you do, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate what Ms. Slay does. And I think that to give her a fair shot at it as well. I mean, if they want to open it back up, then we'll open it back up and have more. But it's a shame that the ones that applied were obvious to TSBA they weren't qualified. So they picked the 2 best. So, I mean, no offense to everybody else that applied, and I appreciate everybody else that applied, because I thank you for what you all do every day for our students and for our county and our schools. It's not necessarily teachers and principals that applied, other people applied. So, you know, if you weren't qualified, why should we be scolded for TSBA's recommendation if I mean, you know, I mean, it's anybody's opinion, but, so.
Thank you. Mr. Lester? Ms. Reitner?
In my article written by Mr. Robbie over here, I quoted at the end that Ms. Slay could not run, because that was what we said in the very beginning. And that's the only reason I don't think she should be allowed to. So I feel like we paid, and you said, Chairman Miller, we were gonna go be transparent and above board, go through TSBA. They have made their recommendations, even though they've said 2 instead of 3, like I thought they originally had said. So that is my only thing. I feel like we're lying to the public.
Mr. Cummings?
I'm glad that Ms. Lay is being interviewed for this, and I think if you have 3 excellent candidates, Ms. McCoy, Ms. Atkins, and Ms. Nancy Lay, I think if you have 3 excellent choices, Campbell County schools look good.
Ms. Creekmore?
I agree with what Brandon said, but I also wanted to ask Josh if you want to get those kids from Scope to come maybe next month.
Yeah, I mentioned the least. I gave you the names
That's
today.
what I said.
I knew it was a heavy agenda tonight, so I didn't want to.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what I was
next
thinking.
month,
I've been
but-
warned Chloe, so.
Yeah,
That's why we thought
had.
next month, we'll
Yes,
kind of
yes,
talk, I
okay.
don't have anything, but I will next month.
All right. That's all I have, Mr. Miller.
Okay, I
Mr.
want
Wheeler?
to piggyback off of what Lisa said.
Mr. Lastly? Mr. Heatherly?
Kudos CCHS, fall athletes. I mean, I always love seeing those type of things. It's so exciting to me to hear good news coming out of Campbell County High School. I believe in Campbell County High School. I believe in Campbell County schools. Ms. Lay, you've done a great job. I do want to say that, you know, my decision to vote no, you know, was purely based on what this board decided to do, as others have said. You know, I do feel like when TSBA came back with 2 candidates, they were 2 good candidates, and I was glad to select from those 2. I mean, that's how I felt. Thank you for everyone that applied, and you know, I trusted the process that we were going to do it exactly how we said we were going to do it. I am disappointed we didn't.
And then there's me. First thing I want to say is I appreciate Johnson on his Special Olympics forum that he had. I've been to it every year, and I actually got to meet the student that inspired me to run again. He was there, and that was a great blessing for me, because sometimes you need a reality check on while you're doing this. and he does that for me every time I see him. So, to Miss Atkins, Miss Charlotte, and Miss Slay, I look forward to interviewing you. I cannot wait to interview you, so we'll leave it at that.
In a tense meeting, can I say something nice? Nice is probably a bad way to put it, but, are you okay with me sharing about your attendance there, Ms. Lake?
Got my what?
Your attendance there, is that okay with you?
My-
At the special interview.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So, folks,
My ears are clogged.
you know, we're all here. I don't think anybody's a bad person, no matter how much we do disagree politically. Personally, I love every one of you all like your family. And tense meetings are not fun for any of us, right? But the reason we do what we do, thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, Ms. Wheeler, so many other on the board have come by and supported. Mr. Heatherly came, Special Olympics. But my whole experience was made seeing Miss Lay come out and support her sister, who's an athlete. And if that doesn't put chill bumps up and down you and a tear in your eye, I don't know what will. How old is she, Miss Lay?
72.
72 years old, and she had the courage to come out and participate and compete, and was the best dadgum cheerleader Campbell County High School's ever seen. That's why we're all here, folks. So, thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Can we get some AC in?
I would like that.
I thought the fever was back.